In Indian economy, we are going to discuss about the changes which happened in the world after Washington Consensus. Okay, so in the previous class we already discussed about Washington Consensus. It means it is a general agreement for the developing countries. So these important changes and agreement, so it relates to the reform policy packages or recommendations which are recommended and suggested by the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and US Department of the Treasury. Okay, so it means in that time they faced some economic crisis. That's why this important agreement for get out of the crisis. Okay, so in this class we are going to discuss about some changes which happened after the Washington Consensus in the world. So, in that time, there were some synonyms for the Washington Consensus. Okay, so it means there are some 10-point reform policy prescriptions were recommended by the three organizations. So, according to the some important synonyms, they are related to the Washington Consensus. For example, neoliberalism. Okay, so it is also known as a free marketism, and second one is market fundamentalism, and third one very important one, that is globalization. Okay, so it means the three important synonyms are related to the Washington Consensus. So, why these synonyms were occurred in the world after the Washington Consensus? Because in Washington Consensus, there are some high priority towards the market. Okay, so it means they have to maintain some fiscal discipline. Okay, it means the balance between the revenue and expenditure of the government. In the same way, liberalization is very important priority in the policy prescription which was formed by the Washington. And next one is trade liberalization. Okay, it means the very important thing is freedom to the trade. Okay, so each and every person has the freedom to control their economic advantages. Okay, next liberalization of FDA, foreign direct investment. Okay, it means each and every person has the right to form a investment in other countries. And next one more thing is privatization is very important in the Washington Consensus. On the basis of the privatization and liberalization, the globalization was formed after the Washington Consensus. So here there was one belief, that is extreme and dogmatic commitment. Okay, here extreme means the great and dogmatic means strong. So there was a great and strong commitment towards the markets. Okay, so that is markets can handle everything. Okay, so this is the major important and great commitment towards the market. It means without state intervention in the government, without a state government intervention in the economy, so only markets, it means the liberalization can handle everything. Okay, it means there are some important set of policies already established by the US Treasury Department and World Bank, and next one International Monetary Fund. Okay, so it means according to their prescription, so originally they intended to address the real problems occurring in the Latin America. Okay, so it means they are showing their important problems and real problems which happened in the Latin America at that time. Okay, so according to this consensus, there are some liberalization policies towards the developing countries because they face some lot of challenges in the Latin America. So they came with the new consensus, that is Washington Consensus. Okay, so according to the set of policies and policy prescriptions from the Washington Consensus, we have to develop our economy. Okay, so later some other situations they may be criticized by the original proponents of the policies also. Okay, so because they used the so many prescriptions, but according to the Washington Consensus, only they faced some lot of challenges in the Latin America. So on the basis of the Latin America only, they came with the general agreement or consensus. So this important policy prescription of the Washington Consensus, it led to the process like liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Okay, so here liberalization means the freedom in the economy. Privatization means the freedom to the each and everyone who is involving in the economy. Okay, so not only for the state government to form a company or something which comes under the economy point of view, but each and every person, it means individuals also can involve in the economy. Third one is globalization. So here the globalization is a great term and it is very strong term after the Washington consensus, because so it means the investment across the countries, in the same way trade between the countries, not only within the country but also trade with other countries. Okay, so it means there is no legal restrictions on the countries to trade with other countries. Okay, so after Washington consensus, so there may be a chance to decrease the state economy. It means the in that time the state role was very decreased. Okay, so it means nations started receiving developmental funds from the World Bank also to develop their countries. Okay, even International Monetary Fund whenever there is a balance of payment crisis. Okay, so during the balance of payment crisis, we have to consult the International Monetary Fund for the loan. Okay, so what is balance of payment? So here the difference between all money flowing into the country and outflow of the money. Okay, for example, imports and exports. Okay, so the money flowing into the country, it means it is coming to the country and sometimes it is going to other countries for the imports purpose. Okay, so it means a particular period, so the difference between the money flowing into the country and the money flowing out to the country. Okay, so this is the difference of the balance of payments. Okay, so basically why we are going to the International Monetary Fund and next World Bank, whenever a country is facing some financing problems, loan problems, and for the short term assistance, so we have to go to the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. Okay, so for example, India also went to the International Monetary Fund in 1991. Okay, so in that time there was a economic reformation was there. For example, LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So in that time, India faced some economic crisis. So that's why we consulted the International Monetary Fund, the relief fund. Okay. So why we faced the economic crisis in 1991? So in that time, the imports level was increased. Okay, and exports level was decreased. So because of the imports level was increased and some external factors, the India was change was faces a lot of changes in the economy. Okay, and it started to conveying some economic reforms. So that's why India adopted some new economic reforms in the economy in especially 1991. Okay, so that is LPG. So first letter it shows about the liberalization. So here liberalization means minimizing the regulations and restrictions in economy. Okay, it means the decreasing levels of the minimizing, and there's a lot of regulations for the economy to start in a company. Okay, so there may be a chance to decrease the regulations, there may be a chance to decrease the restrictions on the economy. So that's why in that time, so freedom will be given to the each and every industrialist. Okay, next important letter which shows about the privatization. So here transfer of property or ownership or business to the private sector. So here private sector is nothing but individuals. Okay, so state means the government is doing such activities in economy, and next privatization means each and everyone has the right to involve in the economy. Okay, so it means they also has the right to form a company or something which shows about the industrialist or something. Okay, Next one, very important one, is globalization, interdependence of world economies. Sorry. So it means investment. I already said globalization means investment in other countries, trade between countries, trade among countries. Okay. Interdependence, it means, for example, we are exporting our rice to other countries. It means it is one important globalization thing, and we are importing some important items from the other countries. So this is interdependence. It means we are depending on other countries, and some other countries maybe depends on us. Okay, so this is the interdependence between the countries. Okay, this is very important in the world economies. So, experts believe that US subprime crisis of 2008. Okay, so there was a crisis in the US, especially in 2008 year. So in that time, the Great Recession was there. Okay, great recession across the developed countries. It means Western countries. Okay, so it means the crisis was rooted in the ideas promoted by the Washington Consensus. Okay, so because in that time, the countries, it means the developed countries or Western developed countries, they are using the Washington Consensus. It means the freedom, liberalization, privatization, and less state intervention. These like important principles. Okay, so in that time, there was a great crisis in the US. Okay, so the great recession across the Western developed economies. So it means this is the result of the Washington Consensus. Mainly experts believe that. So post recession period. Okay, it means recession means temporary economic decline. Okay, some trade or industrialist activities maybe fall in the GDP levels or negative growth in the economy. Okay, so after recession period, so there was a clear erosion of the faith on the market. Okay, it means they lost their faith on the market because they believed market can do everything. Okay, next there may be a increasing the levels of our sentiments towards the state intervention in the economy. Okay, it means the increasing levels of the faith in the idea of state development. Here the state development or state intervention is very important in the economy because unemployment was increased in that time. Okay, whenever the state intervention in the economy, there may be a chance to increase the employment. Okay, so this is all about the changes after Washington Consensus, because there are so many countries that followed the Washington Consensus. So after Washington Consensus, these are the changes in the world. Okay.